Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Happy Monday. TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday. Let's see what we got going on today. Stock market's kind of mixed, They were knocked down over the night and came back up. Let's check out the J4X and see what's going on with the Swiss right there. And you can see there, it's what is it doing? It's kind of like just flattish, I guess is the best way to describe it, coming off of its highs of the day. And let's put the fact check spreadsheet up. You can see right there. Where's it at? Right there. So it's 3 days in a sell, and we've got 7 weeks in a buy. So it's kind of in that mixed state. Doesn't know if it wants to go or what. Oh, it doesn't know if it wants to go or if it wants to come. It's trapped. Let's see if we can find it in the right spot here too on Chicago Quant. Let's see. Where's that at? There's that button. We're hitting these buttons. Button. Who's got the button? All right. And right there's the Swiss. You see just down a little bit. Just now it's unchanged. And pushing into the minus off the highs of the day. You can see we've been in the sell off of this day right here. Or was it? No, it was this day right here. We went into the sell. And now the weekly, look at that. The weekly is getting crushed. How about that? Bang. So maybe dollar is going to see some weakness in here. Obviously, the norm would be is it should see weakness. Everything we know says it should see weakness. But it doesn't seem to come. It's, these currency pairs in general, we talk about it a lot. We have lines on our charts. We've been following this pattern for like a year and a half now on the majors. If there is such a thing anymore as majors, we used to say that there were 5 or 6 major pairs trades and then all the rest were minors. Now, with quantitative easing in 2008, it's awful hard to say who's the major and who's the minor. We can see it in volume and open interest in the options and the derivatives and the binaries and so forth. But overall, all these pairs trades like to trade in a range that is established, obviously, by the central banks. And when we say it's obvious, what is the obvious statement or what makes it obvious? And that is that the central banks, in particular the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasurer, actually declare every quarter if you're manipulating your currency or if you're not. They actually have a way of measuring. And so maybe they don't make it loud and clear to the population, and maybe they don't make it loud and clear to the professional traders or the traders in general, but the institutions must know what the range is. The Treasurer and the Federal Reserve, because they come in and audit the different banks and the trading desks, and so they're in control. So they must give them a general idea where they want to see this product stay. Where they want this, where you should be selling it, and where you should be buying it. Or is it, misery loves company in their mind. I myself never think misery loves company, but in the end result is that they want the pairs to trade in a range. It's obvious. They declare it. They literally declare it every quarter. The Treasurer, at least under Mr. Trump, the Treasurer would come out and say, okay, and give a list of countries that were or were not, or everybody was fine. I don't see Mrs. Yellen do that. She doesn't come out and tell us every quarter the way Mnuchin did. He would make it clear. Before, when Mr. Obama was in, they didn't really, I don't remember them really saying this was manipulated. It was under Mnuchin who was giving out, he was a Secretary of Treasurer under Trump, and he would define it. Now they don't say a word. It's kind of like a silence. There's crickets. But we see it on the charts. We can see it done consistently. It locks itself in a range. We have lines describing it. You can see it right here on the scrunch it up. We keep it on the Chicago Quant chart. You can see that range that has been established. You can see it step out of it. That was back in, I guess it was April, and then it dropped underneath it. Maybe that was the beginning of the inflation factor. We talked about that. And then you can see it was locked in that range previously, back all the way to almost 2019. So you can see they established some type of range that defines where they want this product to stay. And it steps out of it at times, and you can see here, even like 5 or 6, 3 or 4 months, it steps out of it. But it seems to come back to it and then stays inside of it. And this is the I think this big green line was the inflation story finally. They had admitted that the inflation was kicking up. I guess it was let's see, it would be in here this would be the inflation that was the beginning of this year. And then you can see here at the, I guess you could say at the beginning of the election, or at the end of the election part, they knew something was brewing, and obviously it had to oscillate a little bit to adjust to it. And we see this with the euro, we see it with the Swiss, we see it with the British pound, we see it throughout all the different pair trades. They are in some type of range, and they don't seem to want to step out of it. So anyway, that is where we're at. Hey Jordan, how you doing? Doc just looked up on the chat line. So this morning here we are. Swiss is showing some strength against the dollar. Maybe we'll see the dollar top out here for a couple weeks or a month or two, that type of thing. Maybe to the end of the year. Maybe this is the beginning of the move back down into this part of the range. All right, from there, we slide over to the euro. This euro, this is the bottom of the range. It's the inverse to the, and this is June of, is that 2019? Or, this is, where is it? That is June of 2020. So, it's been cruising along for a year and a half inside its range. So, whatever they've established it. And we just observe it and then use our math to try to, when it starts to get into a weekly buy down in here, we have to assume it takes off. We saw the same thing with the Canadian, where it just waited for its weekly buy and it battled with it, and then and it just sat on the range, and then finally it found a way to climb back up again. I think I just readjusted it. There we are. So how are you, Jordan? Was it a good weekend, I hope? Productive? Enjoyable? So forth and so on? I myself even push harder on weekends, try to get lots done. I do it during the trading day too. I disappear for hours at times to do physical things and to get done, but we put the day in, let's put it that way. Okay, so over on the fact check spreadsheet, when it comes to the euro, that's line 14, you can see 3 weeks in a sell and 3 days in a buy. You can see the weekly today is trying to lift up a little bit better than what it has done for the last 3 weeks. And you can see when it went into the sell up in here, it did roll over, but we've had some fits and starts, I guess you could say. It goes into a buy, fails. This was this was the clarity and the post or pre-Jackson Hole announcement that they were hoping for. Here, this is the big inflation being confirmed. We thought this would be confirmed. This is where it's at the top end of the range, and we're like thinking, okay, they're going to confirm the inflation, and that should hurt the dollar, but it didn't. And then because they weren't able to, make it clear. Remember, this is the point in time where they say it's transitory. Now here is confirming that it's not transitory. Get used to it. It will be around for a while. So then obviously the dollar shows lots of strength, because now they basically said, well, it's going to be going up in value, and everything else is going to get hit by the inflation also. And so this whole dance is going on over and over and over again. All right, let's check out the cable. See what the cable's up to. Oh, let's see what it is. I just want to double check J4X real quick. I always like to confirm that the products are all marching along in the same characteristic. So you can see here on the euro, it's underneath its range. You know, the line is trying to head down, and same thing is starting to happen here in J4X. You know, we went into the buy like we are in the fact check spreadsheet right there in that buy for 3 days. And it's been moving up, just like Chicago Quant. In other words, they're working together. Now let's jump over to the cable. And you can see on the fact check spreadsheet too, right there, 3 weeks in a sell, 3 days in a buy. Now, cable is definitely looking firm, really firm. We mentioned that last week. You know, it's outperforming the others. So it seems like they've led into this. They reached for the cable, you know, before they started reaching for everything else, and now they seem to be reaching for everything else. You can see there, little weakness in the shorter term because this is much more sensitive, but look at the weekly. We're getting ready to bust through. So that would be nice to see this get into a weekly buy and then go challenge the top end of the range in the low 140s. Let's see, 1 minute cable, please. Sure. There's a 1 minute cable. We'll go take a look at it. Looks like a butterfly. Cool. All right, let's go find it. I haven't looked at 1 minute cable in a while. Let's check that out. Nice question. I like that. Doc likes that type of thing. Something we don't look at. I like. Me likey. There it is. There's a 1 minute Swiss. So let's take a look at a 1 minute cable. GBP. Right there. There's the 1 minute cable. We went into the buy back, was it 5 minutes ago? And we went into the buy 5 minutes ago. It got through the line here, and it's been a nice little pop. Let's see if we can shrink this down so you can see it a little bit better. Right there. So it's gone from 137.36 to 137.44, basically. So it's down right there. Yeah, going and lifting up, and it's showing some life in there. Now we can take a look and see how it's acted throughout the morning here on a 1 minute cable. You see where it goes into the buy here. We get a nice little 5 or 6 pip pop. You know, it breaks down a little bit. You know, it starts to break the line here. We start to see weakness. It goes into a sell. It doesn't last long. Maybe 1 or 2 pips, and then we turn right back up again, and it makes whatever you gave up there. It does makes this distance to there, and then some. Gets it all back for you. So, I myself am not into minute charts. I would recommend you drift towards spatial charts, in other words, contracts and ticks in a Tesla form. That would be my recommendation. When you say it looks like a butterfly, like the butterflies that fly around to flowers, or you're thinking like putting on a butterfly, the option derivative strategy. And so there you can see the cable. Oh, look at that. We're getting a little yellowish kicking in this minute here. Yes, indeed. I just had harmonic butterfly. I've never heard of it referred that way, but I like that. You think the pattern itself looks like the pattern of a silhouette of a butterfly? Huh. Interesting. I like that. Jordan, you're fun this morning. Thank you. I don't even know what a butterfly pattern is, but I like it. It sounds good to me. Anything that has a spatial description. Now, I guess we could call this like the 1, the 2, the 3. The 3 was definitely biggest of all. And then the 4 and the 5, but they kind of repeated themselves. So this is kind of more of an R.N. Elliott A, B, and then C. You know, this is the A, this is the B, and this is the C. Maybe it's going to top out and break down. You can see here we're going into a 1 minute sell at the moment. But I've never even heard of a butterfly pattern. That sounds great. Oh. Is it kind of like a reverse, like here's like a head and shoulders, right? And then it fails and takes off. Now, is that the head? And so they're going to just keep on beating down on this pattern here, or I'm curious now. You've got me really excited. Now this looks like a big ABC, doesn't it? Maybe in the end it's just like the I don't know. Don't even know what to call it. I'm looking at the whole pattern here. I'm trying to figure out where you see a butterfly at it. It sounds good to me. I want to identify that myself. Is that the choppiness of it, maybe? The two wings and the head? I'll have to look that up. Butterfly pattern. Cool. Ah, look at this thing. Let's see how much more it goes down. Very fascinating. I like that. That's interesting. I guess you're looking for maybe 37, 35, or 36, something like that, maybe? Thinking it's going to drop 10 pips. We're underneath it. Notice we're already heading towards, well, we see it here. You can see here, you can see it here in our intraday. You know, the 1 minute intraday here that, you know, when this thing gets down to the bottom, they get some strength into it, but then it rolls over again, and this is that classic where the second side of it is the better sell. So maybe what this does is this bounces up a little bit in here, does this, and then the next sell is the good sell, you know? Maybe that's it, I don't know. You can see it here. It did that, it came to the bottom and started to lift up. Same thing here throughout this whole event. You know, goes down, comes to here, and then rolls over more. Maybe we'll get this out of it. Maybe that'll be the action. Interesting to see how the green line is treating it, and the histogram is treating it, and the range of it, and how far away it is from the manifold itself here. You know, this is something I always like to learn. I like to see how these things do. You see, Santiago Rebello. Hello, sir. Are you the same person who spoke about WD Gann? Oh, yes. Yes, I am. Well, I mean, I do talk about WD and R.N. Elliott, how they were partners at one point. So, yeah, that's we talked about this a couple days ago. We were talking about some pattern or something that we were that my math is pre Fibonacci. That's what I think I was talking about. Maybe I was talking about that. Now look at this, Jordan. Look at this bottom that's forming here. Right here, that's pretty tenacious. And did we get to the 36? Where's it at now? There's the, yeah, we got past the 36, didn't we? Okay, so cool. So we're down to the 35. Nice. We'll see if it bottoms out here. Does a nice little dance around in this area right here, and then rolls over again. Let's see if it does that. See if this is the second leg will come from it. Yeah, I enjoy WD Gann. WD Gann and Jones and R.N. Elliott started doing things together back in the late 40s, early 50s, I think it was. And Jones is like known as the father of hedge funds. He was like one of the first to really trade the hedge fund strategy. You know, buy General Motors, sell Ford, short, you know, that type of thing, or you know, buy Mercedes, sell BMW, you know, playing the different industry groups with pairs trades. So, and here Jordan has asked, we're always happy to have people ask to see things, you know, we want to learn, we want to explore. In this case here, he's looking at or she's looking at a 1 minute bar chart, and we're letting our math do the work and show you how it reads it. Now, we're not a big fan of what I like to call Newtonian time, you know, classical time. I myself like the spatial time. I know you can't look that up since I invented it, but I enjoy spatial time, and so it has a better characteristic of accuracy. It tells us future movement much better than fixed classical time. So. That's where we are, and I recommend everybody to do that type of thing. Do spatial time, not classical time. So in other words, you make your bar charts, or you make your chart bars, or whatever you want to call them, in a fixed amount of action, physical action, like 369 ticks, 96 ticks, things like that, or contracts. And so each bar is referenced in a different time frame. Santiago, I'm glad. I try to help. I have conversations on the webinar, like as if we're standing in a trading pit, and we're two traders just standing there talking about the market. And that's how we try to treat this. So this looks like the second leg of it, doesn't it? Maybe it's going to go to the 25 on this one. See how the green line has hit the manifold and stopped? And notice the histogram is trying to roll over. If we get another minus, lower low of the histogram, then there's a good chance we're going to see this thing down in this area here. And that's that second leg. And this is interesting. Very interesting stuff here. Like a 6-day bar, sir. Yeah, daily is a cross between the two. We follow everything in a daily and a weekly. For stretched out, but I'm a bigger fan of the spatial side of it. So I do it conventionally because it's accurate and it's okay, but I don't really commit my capital. Remember, when you're using options and binaries, you can commit capital a lot easier than if you're trading the hard delta, the product itself. Because you don't get margined. You won't get margined out. You have a fixed amount you can risk, or you are risking, not you can risk, but you're trading a fixed amount that won't. So in other words, if you're looking at the daily and weekly combined together, then what happens is that you get, let's see, I just got a text, nothing major. And so what happens is that when you look at the daily and the weekly, if you're trading it in a binary or a fixed, when the two of them are together, you can take the risk of trading the spot. But it's still more risky than trading the binary or the option. So I use a daily. Like, let's just take a look at cable real quick here. So there's cable on this. The top is a daily, or this is the daily right here, our indicator right there. This is the weekly. You can see the weekly is trying to lift up. At the same time, you can see the daily's been in a buy for 3 full days and is holding up pretty well. And at the same time, we threw a Fibonacci in there. We were discussing Fibonacci last week, and we left the Fibonacci up on the chart. So we go into a daily buy here, bouncing off of the the point, was it the 0.38? And so we assume that we're going, as long as we're in a daily buy, there's a good chance it's going to go challenge the green line, or the 50 percentile. Now it seems to have lifted through the 50 percentile. We've got our weekly this week. Now the green line making through the time manifold here. It's a non-linear time manifold, another invention of mine. And then what happens is that, and then what's doing now is it's challenging the zero line, which is the bullish side of it. So in other words, when you go through the zero line, you notice you get strength until it starts to roll over. And when it starts to roll over, you see it rolls over. And then you can see here, in this case here, we were in a daily sell, and it rolls over for a few days, goes into a daily buy, goes sideways to up, but the weekly is showing the weakness here, confirming future events to come. And then sure enough, what happens here is you see the value drop, matching the indicator. And so the indicator is a leading indicator, a super leading indicator. And then you can see what we do is we have J4X over here on a daily basis doing the same thing on a day-to-day basis. We're looking at it. So I follow the markets in a very slow, relaxed way for the webinar, but I am not, I have the tools to trade the intraday with no problem. But, and at one time for years we did the webinar, we used to put a camera on a chart and run a chart live for the hour. And you could trade the chart, through the webcam, you could see the chart ticking away live. Yeah, kind of, exactly. It's the music like the way Nikola Tesla would describe it. Exactly. It's like a frequency, a wave, the music, exactly. That's a good way of describing that. That's very good, Santiago. Yep, exactly. And so you can see here, what are we looking at, the daily at the moment of the British pound, and let's just go back to the minute one again. Right there. Okay, now it's finally, it made a new low and only got a little, it didn't get down to the 25, but it got down to here. Maybe that's the finish of the second leg, or this is going to be the first part of the second leg, maybe right here. This whole action right there. And you see it's going, you know, it turned up, went through the time manifold, we've gone plus right there. That was to confirm to be long. It jumps up about 3 or 4 pips. Now it's trying to curve over already, you know, and so forth. And in this case here, now when you're trading on a very short-term basis like this, you got to trade the hard delta. It's just, you know, because you're, you know, it's just so sensitive. Whereas when you're, or you can try to do like a binary for like 1 minute or 2 minutes or something like that, you know, that type of thing. So in this case here, you see it's trying to roll over. Let's see how well this does. Does it stall out with this stuff right here? Is this the head? And is this really the shoulders? And is it going to try to go back up there? If this stays up in here and this green line stays over the manifold, the time manifold on the plus side, okay, then maybe they're going to lift it up. If this thing closes below this, then maybe we start to get more of this again, this action here. And so we just follow our math. I'm fascinated by this. This is fun. I don't mind looking at this. I give everybody an opportunity to ask and to see. And we digest it and we take it apart together as a team. And we discuss it and we learn from each other. That's what happens in trading pits over the years. You know, there are, you know, where you're trading against the market. The traders are all trading against the market. There's some that try to feed off of other traders, but overall it's usually the other way around. It's usually a work in progress, that type of thing. And you can see here it's breaking down. Let's see if this keeps on breaking down. Yeah, look at this. That was the sell, confirmed on the close, and now it's dancing with this. I am watching how far down this green is going. It's pushing really fast and hard. And I don't know, over the last hour or two, have we even seen anything that deep? We haven't. These have been some of the deepest right there. So we'll see how long this lasts. There we are. Maybe this is the 25 that's going to happen. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's going to be the 25. It's going to go challenge between this low and that low. That's where we got the 25 to talk about. Because it bounced here. And see if it fails at it and hits it, it creates a higher low or a lower low. Fun, eh, traders? Thanks, Santiago. And thank you, was it Jordan that started off with the 1 minute? Yeah, Jordan's the one that started off with the 1 minute. Thank you for instigating this. This is good. This is something, to me, is always fun, and it's always fascinating. Doc loves to play with this stuff. I mean, you know, you can see my intraday in a time reference. Like, here's the S&P 500. This is a 639, which I kind of refer to as a 2 Tesla, because Tesla's numbers were 369. So when it's kind of doubled or close to it, you know, it goes into the sell and it breaks down. It tries to get into a plus. Notice it misses it, rolls over again. The second shoe drops. You can see here it tries to get into the buy. We got a red and a green, not yet, hasn't confirmed, still hasn't confirmed. And then right here, it's confirmed the buy. And you can see it's sloppy, but it's moving up. And that's how we follow this stuff. That's a Tesla. That's a 2 Tesla. See, it's lifting. And I find the accuracy, you know, much better. Now we go back to, where's it at? Right there. Okay, yeah, there you go. They made the bounce. It's made its bounce. Got down to about 27. Yeah, 27. Oh no, it got down to 28. Got down to 28. It's dropped in the middle. It's almost like a 50 percentile. You could, you know, look at it that way even, through a Fibonacci of it all. And it stopped at the 50 percentile and lifted back up. And now let's see if this thing gets plus, and maybe they go and build the next shoulder. Who knows? Or whatever that butterfly pattern is. All right, this is cool. I hope everybody's enjoying this. I am. And what can we do from here? Does everybody want us to watch the this, or should we go take a quick look? We'll come back to it. How's that? We can take a look at, unless you have a position on and you need to look at it, let me know. If you got a position on and you need to look at it, we'll leave it up there. And we'll try to come up with another way of looking at the chart. Let's see. So from the cable, we go to the Turkish Lira. Right there. There's the Turkish Lira making another all-time high. There's the daily buy. There's the weekly buy. You know, it's broken its range. That range is, we're afraid that the range is really going to get established in the 12s. We'll watch and see. And let's go take a look at it between the euro. But we're going to give you a quick look again. Let's see what we can do here. I think we could. Can we do this? I was going to say, what we could do is we can go and do this. Say okay. We can go and do this for the traders who want to watch the cable trade in a 1 minute basis. We can go like this if you like. So I go like that. Where's that at? Did I just mess that up? Let's go find it again. Where's the 1 minute? There's the 1 minute. Activate. And we make a copy of it. Copy window. And we're going to paste that window. Okay. Then what we're going to do is this. We're going to shrink that window. And we're going to move that window up here, like so. So you can follow it while we are looking at some of the other products at the same time. No, that didn't work. Let's see. Like that. Okay, right there. All right, we'll go like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go take a look at, and we'll shrink this over so you can see it at the same time. So let's take a look at the Turkish Lira on the daily and the euro. Oh, they've hit the 25 there. So you can move this over like that. There we are. How's that? There we are. Now, I'm going to get all this on the board there so you can see it. So what we have here is the Turkish Lira in the, we go through the cycle until someone tells me they don't want to see this 1 minute anymore. If you don't want to see the 1 minute, just let me know, we'll turn it off. Let's see, music, yeah, let's see, 1 minute long cable. Okay, well we'll leave it up on the screen there. On demo, let's see, Santiago says, "Dear sir, do markets operate on vibrations like atoms?" Yes, yes they do. But let me expand on that for you. What they do is, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a title, and I'm going to show you the title of this physics paper from 1905, and it's going to kind of explain why I invented my math, and then it's going to lead us all down a rabbit hole in the sense of it's not accepted by modern physics. So it's going to be interesting. I have it. I'm going to put it up there right now. Let's see, where is it at? There it is, right there. And let's see, how do I do this? This is the title. I'm going to copy it. This is the title of the paper. And you would never know. Let's see if we can put it on there like this. Paste. Can I paste it on there? Oh, I know what I have to do. I have to go like this. This is the title of a physics paper, like that. There we go. Copy. Written in 1905. We're going to move that right there. We're going to make it black so it shows up. And this is going to be more explanatory in the end for you. Now this is a paper Albert Einstein wrote. It's called On the Electrodynamics of Moving Bodies. Okay? And sometimes it's reversed. It says moving bodies on an electrodynamic field. Okay? This is Albert's paper that gave him, the what they call the family thing, you know, relative. And so this is his original paper. And so my exploration was to look at objects moving on a surface. Okay? Physics moved away from it, but I didn't back in the 70s. And I looked at it, and then what I did is my math looks at objects moving on a surface and spatial. And from that, now I'm able to, over the last 4 decades, make it visual. And you're able to see it better. But this title is what led me to it. And that was looking at moving bodies on an electrodynamic field. Okay? So, it's a convoluted example. They changed the name of that paper in the later years when Albert got a little bit weirder, and they started calling it the relative paper. Now, I have a whole different opinion on why they call it relative. It has nothing to do with one body relative to another as much as they were talking about his family life. That's my opinion. Okay? And so that's where we are. All right? That's the whole gig. Now look at Turkish Lira. Turkish Lira is ripping its way up. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. You can see that it's pierced, what did it do? It went past the 25 and made a lower low. And you can see here, and we could even Fibonacci this. If you Fibonacci this, this is even more fun. In other words, if we go like this, take the low, put it to the high, and then you'll see how my math integrates very well with it. Matter of fact, like I said, my math is a pre to Fibonacci, not a post. And what I've done is I've learned and figured out how to read objects moving on a surface. Now, they don't like that because then you're starting to talk about ether. That really freaks people out when you start talking about ether. So, but this is it. You can see how it treats it. You know, it gets through, the green gets through, it climbs up. You see it fails. At that point, that high is not there, so we can move that high down. So we go like that. And you can see our math picks up on that as the green line breaks. You see it brings itself down, plays against the 0.68 or something like that. Then it brings itself back down to the 5.0 and then goes to the 3.38. Then it bounces back again. You see from my green line and the histogram turning up, it takes it up to the high again, and then you can see it breaks down right there. My math is breaking down, you know, and so forth and so on. You can see how it works, and then that was the second leg that we were talking about. Would it fail or would it become a shoulder? And instead it failed. So now we move this down to there. And let's see how it acts again. Now you see it's done its bottom thing here. And you can see we've moved the bottom line down. And so now what we're doing is we really do this. This is really the way it should be. This should be moved up to right there with the Fibonacci. And notice at the same time how well it finds its way to lock itself into the 50 percentile range now. That becomes even more clear. And this is bouncing up. It's at the 0.23, trying to get to the 3.8 to get back to the high. And we'll see if this stays above, then it will lead itself back to those points again. Stop down, yes. Well, that's why when you're intraday trading, you need to have the best tools. My recommendation, it's free, it's right there. You can change the, we can change this into an intraday. Let's see what the 1 minute looks like in Dukascopy's. Well, there's 30 minutes. Why do I have, I don't have, oh no, I want 1 minute. Where's 1 minute? There's 1 minute. Let's see what 1 minute looks like on the cable. And looking at Dukascopy, see if that's the better tool you'd be following. I myself, like I said, I use ticks. But you can see it's relatively, it's okay in minutes, but it's not the most accurate. Ticks or contracts is the most accurate. Okay, let's see what happens here. It's filling in, and we'll see how it looks on Dukascopy. Oh, I get what Jordan was saying. Now it's on the J4X. You were on J4X. Okay, a 1 minute. Oh, we should have had both up at the same time. And you can see that bottom that was put in on our math is driving it back towards, at least now it's touched the 3/8, the 0.38 or 312, 318, whatever you want to call it. Let's see if it'll go take the 50 percentile. It's filling in still on J4X. Interesting stuff. Hey, I'm really glad you guys are asking questions like this. I'm having fun. You know, it's fascinating. Let's see what J4X does for it. Let's put it this way. Spatial is going to be much more accurate. What we can do is we can jump from that and see if we can discover a good number. Maybe 96 or 369, 1 full Tesla, a third of a Tesla, 2 Teslas, I don't know. We'll look and see which one's the most accurate for this product. I myself always find the 369 pretty good on the euro on an intraday basis. I have not traded the euro on an intraday basis for a few years now. I do off and on once in a while. I get involved in it, but overall, I kind of enjoy more the stock indices. They're more liquid and they're fun, but the currencies are more accurate in many ways than everything else. I find them to be the most comfortable of the products, to trade. I really do. The currencies are a good product to trade. They're like the best, really. I just have no problem. I have the tools that I can trade anything. So, like I said, I haven't traded the currencies in over a year. I just got involved with the S&P again and the NASDAQ. Now look at it, it's still trying to climb to the 50 percentile because our histogram is plus and our green line is plus. And it's still orbiting well above the time manifold itself here, the nonlinear time manifold of the yellow line. So we'll see if it chokes off right here. Notice it's at the bottom end of the range of it now. Now we find our line starting to break down. So we have to be concerned that this thing's going to roll over. See, there's some downticks developing. So my work is going to be first, and then this, oh, watch it fly. See? So what happens when the green line breaks through the time manifold there? It starts to have issues on the downside. See? Whoop. Whoop. Where are you? There you are. Right. Ah. Maybe I should just use the arrow. See, like right there. And it breaks through that time manifold. It has a habit of falling down. See, right there. In this case here, it lagged for about 3 minutes, right? So it did it here, and then finally broke down. It took 3 more minutes. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Nothing's perfect. We're 8.5 out of 10. And let's see if it bounces off the negative time manifold and starts to lift up again, and then they make that second leg that takes us through the green line and even possibly to the yellow line again, which is the 3.8 versus the 5.0, which is the 6.1. Fascinating, eh, traders? Oh, there you go. All right, J4X is filled in now. Okay, so the short was there, and it did. It went down. Then it got long here for a little bit, and then it went short again. And you were long on a 1 minute on this using our indicators. And then there's your long right there. It's making money in a 1 minute. So you shouldn't have been stopped out. You fought the math. Now look at J4X. J4X we invented this structure to be able to have J4X outperform any public indicator. So what we're using is a fast-moving stochastic against a slow-moving stochastic. Let's see if we can light that up. Let me show you the parameters of it. Edit indicator. So there's the fast. You can see the numbers we're using there. Fast K, fast D, 3 and 5, SMA, just sitting there dead. And then we take a look at the slow, and we have it competing against each other. There it is. There's your fast K and your slow K, 5 and 3. then no SMA, and then it asks for a slow D period. We give it a 3, and an SMA again, and low high. There you are. You'll be able to see that on the video too, so you can work your work, get it straightened out. But you shouldn't have lost money on that, because look at that. The 1 minute does fine. And it's running, and these are Hinky Ashies. See right there, Hinky Ashies. See if we can edit that. Do we edit that? Edit indicator? Output? How's that? Is there anything else we need to show you? Inputs maybe? No. Outputs, advances, show indicator on all periods. Right there. And then what's this say? Bar base period. None. And you can see here it's breaking down with our work right there. You can see here this thing's buried down at the bottom. You got to wonder if it's going to try to do a little lift like that. Well, still rolling down. Okay. All right, that sounds good. So it says, yeah, was in profit, went for the D of the butterfly. I see. In this case here, it's like like the 50% down failed and then rolled over. I get it. Okay. Well, try to lock in profits. If you keep on taking profits, you'll do better. Let's see, what else is there? I guess that's about it there, isn't it? That's kind of cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave both of those up. I guess we'll leave both of those up. Let's do that. Let's go like this. Whoa, that didn't work. Let's fix that again. There we go. So there it is over there, parked on the left side of the corner. Let's do like that. I guess if we shrink this down more, can we do that? There we are. So you can see both J4X and you can see the 1 minute. They're both trading on the 1 minutes. And then we can drift over to, we just finished off Turkish Lira. The Turkish Lira is doing its, this is in the euro. There's the euro in a weekly buy and a daily buy. Then it went into, did it go into the sell? I think it did. It went into the sell here. It went back into the buy again right there. So that is the action we're seeing with that. So still learning all the patterns. I hear you, me too. Trust me. A Gartley. I don't even know what that one is either. That's pretty cool. You got some neat names. I like that. Some neat names you got there. I like that. Butterfly, Gartley. I like that. I have old things like trapezoid. And we do options. We have a butterfly, and we have condor in options. But you have patterns named like that, and I like that. That sounds like fun. Like I said, Doc loves the marketplace. He just loves it, and loves talking about it and thinking about it and doing it, And where else are we? I guess from there we go over to the Canadian, which I was going to show as a, how the Canadian is trapped in its range on a day-to-day basis. Let's see if we can show you that. Right there. And I'll show you how it literally adhered to the range. Look at that. There's the range there, and it came out of it. This is back in 2020. Back in, it was above it, then it developed the range here, and for the last year it's been kind of adhering to it. That was really cool there. That was very cool. And I think at one point, I think we had further back, and it was in this range for a while, back and forth. And then they took it up to the 40s after Trudeau got elected. The range was very clear in the Canadian. It was very interesting. Had me totally fascinated, I can tell you that. And yeah, I look at Jordan and he says, still learning all the patterns. Me too. Trust me. And Santiago says, as above, so below. Yeah, yeah, right. What they call that, symmetry. I'm not a big fan of symmetry, but it does seem to happen. But it's not, as far as I can tell, it's not necessarily the tools of the universe. Let's put it that way. Things have the flip side, but they don't always have the same shape. That's the amazing part. So the plus side can be greater than, and then the minus side can be less than. And they're definitely shapes, but they're not symmetrical. And then sometimes they are. So it's not a given that symmetry is going to work. Let's see, where else are we now? So there's the Canadian. From the Canadian, we have something to really show you this morning, and that is, let's show you that. Let's see, where is it at? It's around here somewhere. Oh, here it is, right here on the short term here. Check this out. Look at, oh yeah, here we go. Look at this. Silver. The weekly has jumped through. The daily is pushing down after, I don't know, 11, 12 days. What is it? Let's just take a look at the fact check spreadsheet. I don't feel like counting. Yeah, so it's been 12 days in a daily buy and 23 weeks in a sell. Maybe this is it. Maybe we finally get the metals complex to lift up. Let's see. Hey, Middle Age, how you doing? I'm long 2350 March silver calls, Doc. Plenty of time on them. I agree. Look at that. Is that wild or what? We finally, after 23 weeks, we are flirting with a buy. Hooray for us. And you can see here the daily, showing a little weakness at the moment. Nothing major. We'll see. It did one and just jumped right back into a buy, didn't it? It went 12 days in a buy. So let's see how long this lasts. So, oh, there it is. How about that? So, Canadian, what's Canadian doing again? Let's see. Canadian is going down in value. It's going up in value against the dollar. In other words, it's going down. So there's less Canadians to the dollar, American dollar. So less Canadian dollars, which means it's gaining value against the dollar. And it's been doing that for weeks. And at the same time, the metals complex, right here, has been trying to lift. And that's usually the connection between the two is, the metals move that way. So let's check out gold right there. You can see gold went into a sell on Friday. It's a little weak today. It still can't get into the weekly buy. It's it's been fighting that. It was in a daily buy for, what was that? I think that has to be over one more. So we'll go like that right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days in a daily buy, and then it went into a sell on Friday. And now it's just showing a little weakness, but the weekly itself is still giving it pressure. We're getting to the low end of the range there. But yeah, I hear you. You would think that they would, I think we talked about this last week. You would think that the silver would find a way to climb up into, say, the 24.5 or 25. You would think that. Just one bounce. We showed this. Let me show you. We wrote an article on this last week. Where's it at? Right there. And let's see if we're going to make this really, really big. Jordan, if you need the 1 minute, let me know. But you can see there the Dukascopy J4X 1 minute is lifting up. Let me just take a quick look. Where's it at? Right here. Where's the 1 minute? There it is. Yeah, see, it's bouncing up right there too at the same time. So we can move this one over there like that. There, you can see both of those. And then I'll move this over a little bit more like that. And you can see, and we're going to scrunch up the silver. And you can see it's failed 4 times since like the $29, $30 area. You know, failed a head and shoulder, a reverse head and shoulders there. It failed it there. It failed it there, and it failed it there. And this time, it seems like it's getting some life in it. So let's see if this daily just only has weakness for a day and a half or so, and then turns up to join in with the weekly. AD equals CD on the 1 minute. AD equals CD on the 1 minute. Advanced decline? Advanced decline on C equals CD. I'm not sure what CD is. CD, let's take a look. Is it that line right there? What is that? That's a SMA line. I don't see a advanced and decline lines on this. These are the fast and slow moving stochastics. That's what that is, and these are the hinkies. Dow to open positive. Oh, let's take a look and see. Yeah, we're running out of time anyway, but let's go see. Let's move this back down. Move this back over, and there is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right there. It is, no, it's down 148 points. You see it's lifting up, but no, it's not turning plus. And so that's where we are, traders. What else can we say about it? I guess AB, my apologies. No problem. Question's just a question. It's okay. You don't have to apologize. We're traders. We're trying to figure this all out, you know? That's what it really comes down to. All right, traders, we're going to get out of here. And I think we'll label this as a, like, you know, intraday Fibonacci, you know, look type of thing. You know, we'll do that. We will look at it that way. Let's see, where is that? So, happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be Tuesday. Happy trails to you, to Jordan and Santiago, our trading friends and middle age. Ta-ta for now, traders. Catch you tomorrow.